We got a very special guest today. I'm going to give him a pretty cool introduction. He's one of my best friends now, and he is a COO at the Academy. Without him, this show does not run. I kind of want to peel back his story. Just like most of you guys, he got on a call with me, and back then, my sales tactics were a bit more aggressive. So we had an aggressive call, and I thought he was an individual that I could really help. And he's made some really big decisions to not only go from being a full-time college student, working a full-time job, to then becoming a full-time realtor, starting on my team as an appointment setter on the DMs, and now being the head of my company. He is the operation. He is the one running it, and this opportunity wouldn't have been created if obviously we wouldn't have met online. More importantly, if he wouldn't have taken the risks that he took. So I thought I was a hard worker. I've had to, over the last few months, check myself, because every time that James and I are in the office, I can't beat him. I can't outwork him. Every time that we're doing any activity, whether it's a 3 mile run or a cold plunge, he's like, nope, I'm not stopping. I'm not doing it. Tell me when time is up, because I'm not getting out until it's done. And I've met a lot of people. I've been mentored by a lot of people, and it's very rare to find somebody with his mindset. Still trying to figure out where it comes from. So without further ado, Mr. Hernandez, give yourself an
What's up,
introduction.
everybody?
Give yourself an introduction, and then I want to go ahead and kick it off with our first question.
Cool. Well, first of all, thank you, Alexis, for letting me come on here and chat with you guys for a little bit. I don't want to make this too much of a brag sesh back and forth, but guys, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Alexis either. And everything that I have, I can owe to him, because he pushed me, he put me in the best position I could be in, and challenged me at the very start of my career and through every decision I've made. So got to give credit where credit's due, man. I'm super happy to be in the position I'm at, to be able to help each and every one of you guys, and help other agents just like us. So yeah, I'm super grateful to be here. I'm sure we'll get to know each other a little bit better. When I was a student, I really loved getting to know everybody, and as I've been on this side of things, I've obviously I know each and every one of you because I see you on my spreadsheet, but actually seeing your face is different. So I love being able to actually kind of meet you guys and see you guys. So I'm sure we'll get to know a little bit more about each other on this call. And yeah,
Well, I want to deliver some value for them, James. I want to give them some
do it.
mindset stuff, right? And I think that's where you're the strongest at. Kind of share with us your story before you met me. What was your situation like? What were you
Yeah.
doing? What did that look like for you?
Yeah. So um, before I met Alexis, man, I was in a completely different part of my life. And honestly, if he would have told me, this is cliche, but if you would have told me that I was here as quick as I did, I wouldn't have believed you. Um, I'm the kind of person who had an entrepreneurship little fire in me uh, pretty much throughout my entire life. I was the kid selling fidget spinners for an upsell in sophomore year, and I went on to get really into cars, created a clothing brand, have it tattooed on me actually, because I'm an all-in kind of person. So got it tattooed on me. The name of my brand was IDGAS, which means I don't give a shit, and I still lead that motto to this day. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna live my best life. I'm gonna do what I know I need to do, regardless of what anyone thinks. Um, so started that business. Never really got profitable. Obviously, I didn't know what I was doing. Right, I had a clothing brand. It taught me a lot of lessons though about work ethic, managing teams. Scaled it up to having had about 5 employees who I worked with as well, and ended up shutting that down, and I was just kind of forced to go like the college route. I had a family who that's all they have ever known. I have two failed entrepreneurs in my family as well. So my mother is a single mother, and she was very traumatized by the whole entrepreneurship journey. And just even words of that was always a little bit of like uh, aggression at the dinner table, you could call it, right? When I would say, "Mom, I don't want to go to college. I don't want to da da da." So ended up going to college for 4 years actually, and I still had another three to go because that's how half-assed I did it. And in the time of going to college, I was trying to build other businesses, just trying to figure out what I could do to get out of there as soon as possible. I knew it wasn't for me. I would show up to class with sunglasses on. I'm not joking, you guys. Like I would show up to classes with sunglasses on, and I would just be designing clothes in like my notebook, like a hoodie or pants design. Like I thought that was going to be the route I was going to take. And my friends were always like, "What the hell are you doing, man?" I'm like, "Bro, I'm just like I'm not here. My last essay I wrote for college was a 5-page essay, and I wrote 3 pages, and I wrote 1 page, and I wrote 2 pages why asking me to write a 5-page essay was actually ridiculous, because in the real world, if I can do it in 2, I'm going to do it in 2 and it'll be more efficient. And so you can imagine how that went over with the teacher. But needless to say, I've had to make a lot of hard decisions. When I met Alexis, I was still in college. I was a sales rep at a car wash. Um, Again, I was making decent money. I guess I always had sales in me, in one way or another. Was consistently the top rep of the month there, making the most money I've ever made, to be honest. Like, but still knowing, like, is this what my life has in store for me? And I remember a very specific moment. My wife Angie is actually on the call, and some of you guys maybe have met her. She's actually on our team as well. And I remember I was at her house, and it was probably like 5 o'clock in the morning or something. I think all alarms were about to get up. She was going to go to work. I was going to go to the car wash, and I just had this moment of full clarity. I think is what it was. I'm not really sure what it was, but I had this moment of full clarity, and it was almost like I stepped outside of myself, and I just saw that for the rest of my life. Waking up at 5 a.m., going to work outside, sweating my ass off, 30-minute lunch, being done at 6 o'clock, having 1 day off a week. And I've never felt so much urgency and so much just anxiety as that I did in that one moment. And that moment didn't come back to me until a lot later in my career. This was probably 2 years ago. And I just realized that I can't keep doing this. I know I'm meant for more. I had shut down all my businesses. I'd kind of given up on that. I've tried to take college more seriously. And I just realized that I just can't keep doing this. This is going to be my life, you know? So at that point, I decided to get my real estate license. I had a buddy of mine who was into it, you know, just like probably a lot of us here. I thought I was just going to get my license and have deals fall in my lap. Obviously, that wasn't the case. Went 6 months, and I told Angie, I said, I'm going to do an open house every single weekend until I close my first deal. And 6 months later, I'd still not had as much as a buyer under contract, and I've done open houses every single weekend. I door knocked. I reached out to my SOI. And at the time, I was 22. No 22-year-olds trusted me, guys. I was the guy pissing off and with sunglasses and glasses. You think they were going to let me buy a house with them? No one trusted me. No one, wanted to do business with me. And then I was sitting at the car wash, and I'm sorry if I'm ranting. I think this is cool. I'm sitting at the car wash, and I'm scrolling on Instagram, and here, I'm looking at this guy yelling at for sale by owners on the phone. What's this? And so I click on his profile, and I'm looking at it, and at this point, I'm just like, I have no other option. So I fill out an application, select the time to talk with this Alexis dude. No idea how to say his last name. And he called me immediately afterward, and my mind was like blown. I was like, holy smokes, this is actually him.
You were fangirling a little bit.
Oh, big time. Yeah, big time I was. Yeah. I was talking to Angie. I was like, he actually called me. Like, this guy actually called me. Like, I'm really stoked on it. And at the time, although I was making good money, I was not keeping it. I was spending all of my money. And so, and this is the importance of having a really supportive spouse. I remember I was about to hop on a call with Alexis, and I said, Angie, I may not have the money to do this. And she said, if you think it's the right move, we'll find the money. I'll give you the money. We'll take a loan out. We'll do whatever it takes for you to get the money to do this if you think this is the right move. And so, needless to say, I talked to him on the phone, and we had a specific dialogue that I love to tell. And I think it perfectly just shows the ability of our mind and the capability of the reality of all the world we live in. We're chatting it up, and he's aggressively closing to me. And after we're done, I say, you know what, Alexis, I bet you in another life, man, we'd be friends. And Alexis said to me, why not this life, man? And so it's crazy taking that moment, everything that led up to that, everything that's happened afterwards, to be in here right now. That's why I say I never thought this would happen while I'm sleeping on his couch for a month at a time, and building something I'm really proud to be a part of. that's kind of what led me up to here. Of course, after there, I pretty much replicated his system to the T, to the point that his content person at the time was like, "Yo, like this dude is literally jipping all of your Instagram videos," and replicated this system to the T. I told myself that, look, this is it. I'm not going to go back and forth. I'm not going to have another failed business. I can't keep having those conversations with my mother and the rest of my family about, no, this time will be different. This time will be different. And so I told myself, this is it. I'm going to give this my all, my everything. Started waking up early, 5 a.m. Did that for a while, and I would just study. I would just study for the first 3 hours of the day. And on my very first group coaching call, I said, okay, Alexis, and next month I'm going to quit my job. And Alexis and Matt, I don't think he's on here, but I'm sure some of you guys have seen Matt Weiner. Alexis said, dude, why not now? Challenged me yet again. He said, why not now? Just quit your job. And I said,
Well, I think I
I
asked
got
you first. I was like, can you quit your job? You know, like, does it make
probably
sense to quit your job, right?
right. Does it make sense? And I was like, I mean, I don't really have much saved. I was kind of uncomfortable. Like end of the month for sure. Let me get some deals under contract and get some things going. And that's when Matt politely chimed in and was like, yeah, dude, that's, nothing's going to change in a month, James. He was like, nothing's going to change. Another bill's going to come up. Another thing's going to happen. And you're going to stay
Mm-hmm.
another month. So here, Alexis and our community again pushed me to make another uncomfortable decision. And sure enough, the second I hopped off that call, my first call, I joined on a Sunday. Next day after I joined this guy, challenged me to quit my job. And sure enough, I called my boss and said, hey, man, going all in on real estate. And I had, I think, a month and a half of savings at the time. Like I said, I was not keeping my money. So I was like, you know what? I'm putting my back against the wall. I'm going all in. I'm putting my complete faith and trust into this guy, into this system, and I'm going to make it happen. Picked up the phone, started dialing, woke up early, studied, role played with my friends. But I think one of the key things that I really want to drive home is I really embodied the whole entire mindset. I was just bought in 100% to everything, right? I am a top producer. I am. And at one point, I wanted to do coaching as well, which is why I'm so glad that we ended up in this space together. But, I am the best objection handler. I am the top agent, right? I just really bought into this belief that, like, I am this person already. The same person who has had 3 failed businesses before, nothing to show for it, just picking up calls, and I would just go on these appointments with these for sale by owners and just walk in there. I literally had a shirt that was branded with my name on it. It said Hernandez Mastery, because I was the master of my craft in my mind. I am that guy. And replicated exactly what he said to do. The cold calls, objection handling, I'd be role playing with Angie, making dinner all the time. And then I would just, this is something that we talk about, is like, we just end up talking like that. We just end up picking up the scripts, and like our normal conversations just become like the script. Like, would you be completely opposed to like getting Chinese takeout tonight? And so completely bought into it. Had a great run in real estate, I think, in my opinion, for 23 years old. I was able to put together about $9 million worth of real estate. Now, because of different factors, some of it closed, some of it didn't. But I got all my business from cold leads as well. For sale by owners and expireds was all I ever did. And then it kind of got to the point where I really wanted to take my career to the next level. And I really started doing some trainings at my brokerage. They invited me to do some trainings at my brokerage. And I really loved helping like newer agents kind of get their feet off the ground. And so again, I started doubling down more on my content, more posting like objection handling content, like trainings, things like that. And Alexis reached out to me and he said, hey, I want you to join my team. And the first time I was like, nah, dude,
I
you're
was
crazy.
chasing you for a minute.
Yeah, the first time I was like, nah, dude, you're crazy. I just got into real estate, bro. Like, let me keep doing this. And he said, okay, cool. And he called me again, and I was like, not yet. And then he called me one more time. He was in Colombia, freaking Colombia, man, in a hot tub. And he was like, bro, he was like, you gotta come over here, man.
That's the one that got him, Chip. That's the one that got him.
That's the one that got me.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? Fuck it, bro. Fuck it. Let's do it. Let's do it. You haven't led me wrong yet, man. So pretty much from that November of last year completely stopped production, stopped prospecting, stopped everything, referred out 100% of my business to this day, just refer it out, and went all in on appointment setting for the team. Started as
Tell
a
them where you
DM setter,
started,
like,
bro. Tell them where you started in the company.
yeah, I started as a DM setter. So very important, crucial role, but again, not the most sexy role, I guess you could call it, right? Like I started as a DM setter, pretending to be Alexis, messaging people, and I would send voice notes to people. And my philosophy, I think, was just I just want to be the best at everything, right? I want to be the best cold caller. I want to be the best realtor. I want to be the best husband, the best son, the best provider. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to be the best DM setter. And so built out some new systems, tested out some new things, and I don't know where it came from. I think what it was is I just cared. I was really passionate about this. I really believed in this. I saw what it did for me, and I've seen what it did for you guys and past students, and what it continues to do. And I just realized that I'm the door that opens up this opportunity for other agents who may not know that it exists, right? If they're not reached out on Instagram, they may not never have seen Alexis or ever thought of this opportunity to partner up with him. And so I just really embody that every single day. And I would wake up and no morning routine. The second I woke up, I would just sit in my chair and just start ripping DM messages. And got to the point where I was setting, a good amount of DMs. They were showing up. They were closing. At the time, the academy was going through a lot of different changes, and so it was very much like we had those conversations. And I'll be real with you guys, we had those conversations where it's like, is this the opportunity that we thought it was? Like I would talk to Angie about it, and other team members like, is this the opportunity that we thought it was? Like I said, there was a lot of changes going on. With different positions and whatnot, and things slowed down, things sped up, there were changes, and I really had to look at myself and be like, is this where I want to be? And do I really believe in this person and this offer and this product? And I just came to the conclusion that I do 100%. And no matter what the worst month looks like, that I know that, Alexis has the best intentions for every single person, and he's never freaking stopping. And so I was like, I'm just going to ride with him until the fucking wheels fall off. And so doubled down, started appointment setting even more. We got Angie to come on as an appointment setter. And one day again, 3 or 4 months in, he just gives me a call out the blue. I think he was in Colombia again. So hopefully when I become CEO, he's in Colombia again. He called me out of the blue and was like, hey man, what do you think about being my COO? And yet again, I'm still trying to get over it. Again, I was still like, I don't know, man. Like I just got good at appointment setting. And he said something important to me, which I think is valuable. He said, no, I just need you to say yes to this, bro. He's like, I just need you to say yes to this opportunity right now. And again, he challenged me, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm in. And since joining, I've unlocked
Tell them what
another
happened.
level.
Let's be transparent with them. The first month that you joined as COO, your first full month, tell them what happened. I mean, don't give out the specifics, but just tell them what happened.
Well, I mean, the first month that I joined him as COO. We broke company records by a lot,
A
and
lot.
yeah, by a lot. And I overhauled pretty much the entire system because I was lucky enough to see it from the very first interaction to being the head. So I was able to bring in a very over 30-foot view of the academy that I don't think we've been able to see before, and was able to implement lots of new systems, lots of changes. And yeah, we completely smashed our best month out of the park that month. And I think that's really just speaks to, I just really believe in this product. And like I said, I'm not trying to make this a brag on the academy session, but you guys really are in a really awesome spot being here. And I wholeheartedly believe in it. I've put my entire career, my life, my family on the back of Alexis and this vision and our vision now. And we just continue to go up from there.
So you almost had me at a second there. I was like, don't cry on the phone or on Zoom. You almost had me there, buddy. I appreciate you sharing all that. I want to break this down into takeaways that they can take away, right?
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
someone that, when I called you the first time and I told you to be COO, I had never ever told you before that that was a thought in my mind. I just kept
Mm-hmm.
testing you and testing you and testing you and seeing how you would continue to show up. knowing that you were in basically the lowest role in my company, right? It was an
Hmm.
important role, but like you're setting DMs on Instagram.
Yeah.
He started building out spreadsheets, systems, processes that I did not tell him to do. He started doing these things on his own. How
Hmm.
can we translate that to you guys, right? Number
Yeah.
one, I think it's important that you guys buy into yourselves. Forget about me, forget about the academy. I'm a vehicle for you guys, right? This is about
Hmm.
you guys. What I found out about James is that he was completely sold. And when he started posting those videos on Instagram, my camera guy was like, dude, this guy's copying you. I go, no, he's doing exactly what I told him to do. He's learning, he's listening. Let him do his thing. James
Hmm.
reminded me of me in the beginning because when I first started real estate, I was so delusional. People thought I was crazy. I was a brand new agent walking around Keller Williams thinking that I was already making $250,000 a year in commission. And that's exactly what James did. If there's one takeaway I've
Hmm.
gotten from James so far is that he believes it far before it happens.
Right.
And you guys need to do that as well. There's a book called The Science of Getting Rich. This book talks about if you want a new opportunity in your life, at whatever opportunity you're in right now, you need to act like that new opportunity is right around the corner. And in the meantime, you have to be the best at the one you're at. You can't be a waiter at a restaurant and
Hmm.
be in a fucking shitty mood all day and expect that all of a sudden good things are going to happen in your life and you're going to get a better opportunity. It doesn't work like
Hmm.
that. When I was carrying golf bags in Sheboygan, Wisconsin in the freezing cold, I wanted to be the best caddy ever. I also washed cars. I did a YouTube video yesterday that reminded me of a day in 2018 where I was doing a car wash in Kendall. For those of you guys that don't know Kendall, it's like a suburb of Miami. And I had bought a pack of waters. For every person that came and did a car wash with me, I was going to give them a water bottle for free. I only got 2 car washes, so I was left with 34 waters, right? And I said, you know what? I came here to make money today. I got the water bottles, I put them in my arm, and I went on the side of the street and I started selling water bottles. In that moment, my only goal was to be the best water bottle seller in Kendall. This was on the street in front of my house where everybody that was passing by was like, "What are you doing, bro?" Like everybody knew me, because we're in a street. But
Yeah.
me and James have that similarity that no matter what the opportunity is right now, I'm going to be the best at it. And in my
Right.
mind, the next opportunity is just right around the corner.
A
And if you
hundred
guys
percent.
embody that mindset, and James, I want to say one more thing. The other day, I noticed how obsessive you are. You were editing the thumbnail for a YouTube video, remember? And I was like,
Hmm.
why what are you doing, bro? Just upload it. He's like, no, 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 no. It has to be perfect, bro. Like you were trying to get it on a certain like frame.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, just upload it, bro. And you're like, no, dude, like I'm trying to get the perfect frame. And I'm like, you're so meticulous with everything that you do. Right. So there's a ton of stuff that kind of caught my attention with what you said. But to make it transferable for you guys, I think it's important to buy into yourself. If you're
Hmm.
here, buy into the process, put both feet in the water. There's some of you guys that are younger, there's some of you guys that are older that have some really important decisions to make, some really big ones. If you're here, it's because you made a decision to join this and this group. First big decision. If you're going to school and you have a job and these are circumstances that are taking time away from you pouring into your business, you need to ask yourself, do you want to be 100% in or do you want to be half in? Right?
Hmm.
I told Jose, I onboarded you today. I talked to you today. I go, brother, we're going to figure out a way to get you out of school and get you
Hmm.
out of the job you're in. You want to be the best realtor you can be? You want to make multiple six figures? No realtor that makes multiple six figures works a job and goes to school. Now we get it. Everybody has a situation, but at one point we have to go all in. You have to.
Hmm.
And that's what James did. And that's why he kept getting opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. He never complains. I've never seen James complain. And I'm the one that complains now. I'm like, bro, can we just stop for a second? It's 14 hours into the day and I need a break. I can't keep going. He's like, we're not done yet. We're not done yet. Like. And that's why it's not going to be a coincidence in 5 years when James has everything he's ever wanted, when him and his wife and his family and his kids are set because of the work ethic,
Hmm.
the delusional mindset, the commitment, right? A lot of you
Yeah.
guys, I'm going to come out and say it. When I got my first mentor in real estate, my first mentor that I actually liked, I put my full trust into that guy. Some of you guys are too skeptical, and I'm not talking about us, right? I think once you guys get into my academy, my platform, there's a lot of trust that gets built. But let's say you have a team leader or a broker and you're choosing to listen to this person. You either go all in and you listen to them 100% or you don't listen to them at all.
Yeah.
There's nothing here that gets done at 50% that gives you a 100% result. And
Mhm.
James is the epitome of that. Yeah, dude, plenty of takeaways. I don't know if you have other stuff to share. I don't really have any questions. You kind of hit everything
100%.
I had. I'd love to hear more of your thoughts.
Yeah, I'll share a couple other I think key takeaways for you guys. Especially for I mean, well, for anyone, whether you're younger or older, I think we all have decisions that we have to make, very quickly in our life. Like we can't go back in time. And I guess when I had that moment when I was laying in bed and I just realized like if I don't make a decision right now, my life is always going to be this way. I've always just tried to realize that making decisions very quickly will always get me closer to where I want to be, right? If I know it's the right one, like quick little 30 seconds, like take a look, give me the details, give me the facts, cool, let's go, I'm in. And I've tried to just embody that as much as I can. Um, and I'll speak to maybe some of the younger people who still have, parents who look over your shoulders and still say, hey, you know, that your real estate, you haven't sold any deals yet. You need to get a real job. You need to go back to school. Look, guys, like I said, I spent my whole time, guys. I would not have gone to high school if my mom didn't fill out the application for me. Like I was so far removed from the whole schooling thing. I was like, Mom, I'm just gonna be a millionaire. First, I wanted to be a DJ, then I wanted to be an influencer, and then I wanted to be a YouTuber. Like I was so far removed from the school thing. She literally had to fill out the applications for me. Otherwise, I wasn't going. And so when I remember, I was watching a video which was by a guy named Charlie Morgan. It was called Trial by Fire, and he was talking about the anxiety that we feel when we have a decision that we know we have to make, and we don't make it. And I remember I had another one of those moments where I was like, okay, I need to tell my mom that I'm not going to school anymore. I had just joined Alexis. I was 3 months in. I've had lots of good appointments. I still hadn't had anything closed yet, right? And school is starting like in the next 2 weeks. I already signed up, already paid, everything. And I just realized that taking a step back will not get me closer to where I want to be. When I had every reason to not, I was out of savings, school was coming up, I had every reason to just say, you know what, let me go back to school and just do this dabble this on the side. I knew that the decision that I had to make, the decision that James, who was the top producer, who already had everything he wanted and has been successful, would have made was to stand up, right? And say, you know what, this is my life and I have to make my decisions myself. And so I remember I called my mom and I said, hey mom, I'm not going back to school in 2 weeks. And she was like, I remember she was being all like, oh, then that's it. You're done. I'm cutting you off. You don't get any help from me, anything like that. And I just said, okay, cool. You let me know what that means for you. And I'll take care of the rest. And I don't want this to come across like, mom, she meant the best, right? Like parents, they mean the best for us, right? They always come with a light of wanting to help. And she, again, we had failed entrepreneurs in our family. She was very triggered and traumatized by this, like, oh, I'm not going to school and I want to be an entrepreneur. And so I think that was a really key takeaway where I was like, someone who, I mean, I'm super proud of my mom. She's a single mother. She gave me everything I have now. And now I want to be able to give that back to her. I also have to do something that would disappoint her for the meantime. And now she's very proud. She gets it now, right? This is another takeaway that people aren't going to understand you guys, right? The friends, the family, the people you have at your brokerage right now who say, oh, well, it takes 2 to 3 years to be a top producer. They're not going to understand you guys. When you talk at Thanksgiving, I remember I would just shut dinners down because I was just that bought into it. And people would just be looking at me like, what are you talking about right now? And like, I'm not hanging out with that person because they're a bum and they don't support my vision. And they're like, well, that's your friend. And I'm like, I can't do that. I don't have forever to get to where I want to be. I need to get to where I want to be very, very fastly because I cannot turn back this clock. And anyone who does not support that vision cannot be a part of it. I am so sorry. Thank you. I love you. Respect. You cannot be a part of it. And so I think you guys, we have to come to terms that like if we want something that no one else in our circle has ever seen before, they are not going to understand the decisions and the mentality that we have to take on a day-to-day basis. And that may mean leaving some circles, right?
Mm-hmm.
My circle is very small now. The only people I allow around me are people who are 100% are bought into me and bought into my vision. I just don't allow anything else around me. So I think that's a really important takeaway. And if there are parents or spouses or, I don't know, anyone in your life that's telling you to do one thing and has this shadow over you that you feel like that they're in control of your life, I'm telling you guys, break free of that. Break free of that. It's hard. I had the most hard decisions of my life. Get this one, guys. Also, the couple weeks after I told my mom I'm dropping out of school, I told her I'm getting married also. So you can imagine how those two went back to back. And my dad told me at the time, he's like, I'm extremely disappointed in you. He's like,
Wow.
I'm extremely disappointed in you. You're making some horrible decisions to my face. And you know, I just had to take that on the chin and be like, you know what? They don't get it now. They don't get it now, and they will. And it's not I'm going to prove them wrong. It's that I love them and I respect them and I'm doing this for them, kind of thing. And like I said, they've come around now and they get it more now, right? But I think we get so afraid to have these hard conversations with people, again, spouse, friends, family. But at the end of the day, guys, if you know what's best for you and your career and your life, you have to just rip the band-aid off and just have those conversations with those people. And that will show you. The friends who I talk to and I say, hey, this is my vision, and if it's not this, it's nothing. My friends who I have now, my one friend that I have now was like, all right, bro, I'm all in with you. You are that guy, bro. We used to do this exercise that Alexis said that he would do where he'd call his friends and like, hey, I'm on the way to the PJ. Tell the driver to pick me up in 5 minutes. What are we eating on the PJ? Sushi? Cool, sushi on the PJ. And just really envisioning and embodying this. And anyone who couldn't play along with me like that was just, I couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's a really huge takeaway. And I think that sparked a lot of my discipline, I guess you could call it. It's definitely not motivation, guys. I work my ass off all the time. And I just don't have a choice. I don't know if a lot of you guys follow me on Instagram or not, but I posted a story the other day, and it was a very tactical thing I think you can take away. Like if you're still trying to work on your discipline and you catch yourself doing things that you shouldn't be doing, whether it's not calling or maybe you're on a diet and you're not eating the right foods, or you say you're going to go to the gym and you don't do it. Just imagine you're doing that activity, and the person you want to make the most proud in this world walks in and sees you doing that. And that's how I kind of push past that extra boundary of what I think is possible. When I feel like saying, "Ah, man, it's been a long day. Maybe I'll just call it early." Then I imagine Alexis walking in and saying, "Dude, what's going on, man? I thought you were that guy, and now you're not." I imagine Angie saying, "Well, hey, I thought you said you were going to be going to the gym and doing this, and now you're not doing that." You know, and that can kind of help push you past that next little level of like discipline and when motivation leaves, it's gonna leave, guys. I've been doing this, not as long as some of you guys here. To me, it feels like I've been doing this forever, and motivation's gone. I'll be honest with you guys. It's not there. It's just a matter of like I have to just keep committing to my vision and the reality that I know hasn't caught up to me yet. I just have to commit to that and just push past it every single day. Do the cold plunge for a minute longer. Go on that run and just put one foot in front of the other just for another half a mile longer. Because how we do one thing is how we do everything. If you don't think that's true, I'm telling you it is. I'm telling you it is. The peak moments in my life was when I was on 10 at everything. And I still try to get back up there. I still need to get back there. But how you do one thing is 100% how you do everything. Hopefully you guys got something from that little rant I just went on.
Yeah. One of the big key takeaways, and then I guess I'll open it up for questions for you guys. I did a YouTube video yesterday, James, that we talked about, and I think a lot of you guys are dealing with having you guys have dreams that maybe not a lot of people around you have accomplished, for those of you guys that know my story, my dad was an 8-figure entrepreneur. He ran a very successful business that eventually crashed and burned to the ground. But I luckily did have someone that I could emulate that was a risk taker, that was balls to the wall, wasn't scared of anything, knew how to make the money, and he instilled a lot of courage in me. And I think a lot of us maybe don't have that opportunity to have, parents, friends, family, or spouses that want to, act like the person we have to become to get the results we want. And along this journey, for me, for James, and for a lot of you guys, some tough decisions have to be made. I had to, like James said, I had to temporarily really disappoint my mom and my family to make her
Hmm.
proud forever. Right? My mom, same thing with me. She told me to go to college, and I had 12 failed businesses at the time that she was telling me this in 2018, 2 years before getting my license. She told me, just, it's obviously not for you. Get a job, go to college, and play it safe. And I go, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to disappoint you right now. I'm going to disappoint you right now. You're going to cry right in front of my face because you're seeing your firstborn child ignore you and has nothing to prove to it, but I'm going to make you proud forever one day. And now when I get to speak on stage in front of 500 people, 200 people, 50 people, 1,000 people, and she's in the crowd, which has happened many times. She'll be there this weekend in the Miami Mastermind. And she has people come up to her and tell her, your son just changed my life right now with what he said. She just cries all day. She'll just spend all day crying because now she's like, you know what? I see it now. But it took years. It took years to get to that point. It took years of me really having to overcome that battle in my head. I'm really disappointing everybody in my family right now. I'm an outcast. I'm weird, right? Because from the moment that you make that decision to change your habits, your friends, and your thought processes, a big, long period of time has to happen before you see the results. And a lot of
Yeah.
people can't hold that fire. They can't hold their friends being like, dude, you're weird, bro. You're really delusional. Why don't you just come out with us and have a beer on Saturday? Dude, stop making those cold calls. That guy that you're listening to, he doesn't know what he's talking about, bro. He's just some fucking internet guy trying to take your money. That's what they're going to tell you, right?
Hmm.
That's what they told me until that first big check came in. Uh-oh. Now he's got an apartment. Now he's on his own. I'm not looking back. Just like James, honestly, I think James is the only. I think Victor and I have really come close lately. Like we FaceTime pretty frequently because Victor's on the same wavelength that I am. Victor's every single day
Yeah.
wakes up, does his burpees, makes his calls, and wants to get fucking better. That's it. I can't talk to you if you don't want to get better, right? And this level of intensity for some of you guys that are brand new, I get it. I'm very intense. I'm very aggressive. People like I just saw Garth in the bottom of the chat. I will only talk to people like that.
Hmm.
Garth, when I
Someone
met Garth,
else.
the first day he told me, he's like, why are you waking up so late? I'm going to call you at 5 in the morning, make sure you wake up. That's all I want around myself. And you are
Hmm.
forced to appreciate your life when that happens. And when you look at it from the perspective of this is not forever, there's a short period of time in my life that I get to focus on myself. Maybe some of you guys have kids. Right now, I don't. I'm fully focused on myself, on my development. If you have kids, it should be the reason why you're focused on yourself and your development to become the best version of them. And remember this, 99% of the people we meet, including the prospects that we talk to, the people we meet at a party, at a networking event, they're not the 1%. That's why it's a 1% and a 99%. So if you truly want to be a part of the 1%, you're going to have to disappoint people. You're going to have to be an asshole, be mean, be rude, right? You're just it's called having
Yep.
standards. Most people that I run into in the elevator or, at the gym, let's say I come across somebody at a restaurant, in the first 30 seconds of the conversation, I know whether or not I want to keep talking to you because I know where your energy is at.
Hmm.
Anything less, I'm not settling. I'm not. And that comes down to every aspect of my life because like James said, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything.
Again, just the energy, guys. Like you really have to protect and build up your energy. My first listing that I ever got, my first residential listing was a $1.1 million listing from a for sale by owner, and I just walked in there like again, like I was just the guy. I saw the all the realtor has the billboards all over the place in Nashville, like got all the marketing and everything. I saw his folder on the desk, and I walked in there. I was like, you know what? This is my freaking listing, bro. And halfway through the listing, he's going to give me a fist bump. He's like, "All right, you're the guy." And that's how I've got all my listings, right? It's not because I have, I was 22 years old, 23 years old. I have zero sales underneath my belt, and not a single person asked me how long I've been in the business for. because I just carried the energy of like, I'm the fucking guy. And if we don't work together, it's because I'm deciding I don't want to do business with you. And that would be the only reason. So it's not just hoorah, hey, go give it a
Yep.
shot. Like this is actual things that work, guys. And to give you like the light at the end of the tunnel as well, it's like at one point you don't have to act anymore. Like when I first started, guys, I was acting. I was acting like that guy, in front of people, in front of clients. Like I was acting like it. And at one point, you just start believing it. When I kept telling myself every time I looked at my bank account and it was a couple cents in there, guys, I'm not shitting you, down bad. I would be like, you know what? There's $1 million in here right now. And this is something that I used to tell like the new agents that I would talk to. I'd be like, when you just forget about the money, I know it's so much easier said than done, guys. But when you just like, I have $1 million, I could just go fuck off and do whatever I want. That's when you really just hone in on helping people. And that's when you really just it just starts coming to you. I have people who call me now for listings and deals and old for sale by owners I never followed up with. It just starts coming to you guys. I know it's so much easier said than done. It really is, but just I got it. I got the money covered. Now it's just how can I have the biggest impact in my life? How can I help as many people as I can? How can I put my position, my family in a different generational position to change the course of everybody else's bloodline that comes underneath me, you know? But I mean, I'm happy to stay on here for as long as anyone else wants to talk. I'm here for you guys no matter what. A lot of you guys have my number on the WhatsApp. You guys can follow me on Instagram if you want to see behind the scenes of the academy. I like posting behind the scenes stuff. But resilience and
That's all it is,
Hermosi
man.
describes it as like the moment from uh, the negative stimulus to like when you get back to baseline, right? And I've had a lot of setbacks in my journey since joining Alexis, even things that I did not plan on happening happen, on personal side and the business side. Guys, I've had 4 deals fall through this year already, you know? So a lot of people will be like, fuck, man, real estate deals, big deals, biggest deals of my life, you know, biggest deals of most people's life fall through, you know? And it's just a matter of just being like, you know what, that happened, that fucking sucked, got punched in the face, and then like, but you know what? I would be like, I'm gonna give myself an hour. I'm gonna give myself an hour to cry about it and be sad about it, and then you know what? I just gotta pick myself up, man, and just get back to it.
It's
Just
also
try
James,
to.
bro. Like you've seen this in person, bro. It's also okay to just be one of those days where you put your fucking hat on and you just fucking do it anyways, you know?
You just grind it
You
out.
don't have to feel happy all the time to do shit.
Yeah.
That's actually when you build the most character.
Before we end this, I'm reading through some of the messages right now, and James, I hear your message. I see your message here
I just saw it.
about struggling with cutting people off, and including your spouse. Just wanted to say, man, like we're here for you. Those conversations are never easy, never, bro. Especially someone as close to you as that, and we're here for you to be as supportive as you need, man. And I'm sure you're listening. If you need anything, brother, just let me know. I'm here for each and every one of you guys as well. Like I said, you guys always feel free to reach out to me on WhatsApp if you have any technical issues with anything, or even just need someone to run anything by. I'm always a friend to all you guys and happy to listen to your struggles or whatever, because it's not always sunshines and rainbows. So always here for you guys. And James, let us know if you need anything. And for anyone else, I was going to kind of challenge you guys to, I'm sure we all have something that we need to do that we've been avoiding doing, a conversation, a task, making a promise to ourselves that we just have been breaking for a long time. I would challenge you guys. It would just mean the world to me if you guys promise yourself just to do that this week. For me, for all the hours I've put in and poured into this community, do it for me, guys. Do it for yourself, please, guys. It's time that we really start keeping the promises we make to ourselves and doing the hard things.
Um, I'm gonna save the waterworks for Saturday, but I wouldn't be here without you, brother. And proud to say that you're my best friend and my partner. And out of all the years that I've been doing entrepreneurship, I haven't run into somebody that cares about something that I built more than I do. So this is ours now, and it's just the beginning, brother. Thank you for sharing your story today.
Thank you, brother. Wouldn't be here without you and all of our amazing students, man. So I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be able to serve you guys every single day. Like I said, if you need anything, reach out. Always here for you guys.